really today, I'm not talking about my research. Really, I just want to talk about. I'm giving you a story of really what happened, of the things that we experience in our everyday lives, and what we're trying to show here is that conservation cannot just only be in a classroom. You can apply it, and when you speak truth to power, so many things can really happen. So that's why you see the title of my talk today is about 50,000 wings, the Purple Martin spectacle that we got at Texas A&M University. I have been working at Texas A&M University now for this is my second year after I served at the University of California, Los Angeles for almost 20 years. So I moved here 2 years ago. And now I direct the Applied Biodiversity Science program, the Conservation Collaboratory. I also teach some courses. I teach the Wildlife Forensics course. Um, what we try to do in Applied Biodiversity Science is making sure that we could bring in policymakers and scientists into the same hall and speak the same language. We don't just want scientists to publish their papers and get promotion through peer-reviewed papers and nobody's reading them. We want to make sure that those papers are actually translated into policy reforms so that policymakers can easily understand. So one of the things that we try to do as much as possible is to break down the science so that policymakers can understand and then interpret. So yeah, how this all started here on campus is we always have lots of common grackles. Common grackles are these large, lanky black birds which you see all around. So they've become very notorious here on campus. You see them all over the place because of their antagonistic characters. They harass students on their way to classes, and because of the way in which the city has been built or the state has been built, rapid urban growth provides huge and ideal habitat for lots of food for these birds to eat. These bright artificial lights for their night safety, and then they have lots of these trees around that can serve as communal roost and keep the predators away from these birds. So we actually have common grackles now find everywhere. So and you see, and once you see them, you start asking, are they really healthy to be around? Are they do we why do we have so many common grackles just flying and swamping all over campus and harassing students when they go to work, when they go to school, and other faculty and researchers going to work. So some research has been done about the presence of common grackles here on campus. And we've seen, we have one of my colleagues, she's an ornithologist. She tried to get samples from some of the common grackles, and we see that they can carry and spread several zoonotic diseases through the dropping, or they could serve as vectors to some other types of diseases. For example, we've seen that they've tested positive the fecal material that was collected from common grackles tested positive for salmonella, and salmonella is a bacterium that lives in the gut of animals. So, and that contamination can lead to transmission to other animals, including humans. So again, when you see the percentage was very low, it was about 2 to 3% of the samples that were collected that got that infection of salmonella. And we also found out that the blood of common grackle can be infected with these tiny microscopic roundworms. And these are protozoan parasites that are related to malaria and West Nile virus. And again, they have this zoonotic capacity, which means they could easily spread to humans. And with that around, it brings this scare. Do we really need to be having tons of birds flying and spreading fecal material around the place? So one of the things that we try to educate is how do you avoid avian feces, or how do you avoid fecal material from other and wildlife animals that we see around, because that is actually the good practice. So for shopping carts, when you go shopping or you grocery shopping, when we have this, most of the our shopping carts are put in the parking lots there, where these common grackles will come and roost. So we think you can just clean up the handles with hand sanitizing wipes. That has been pushed through in most grocery stores, and you can see those sanitizing wipes around there. You can use that. So that's just one of the things that we do in order to make sure people don't get exposed to the fecal material or the droppings from the common glucose which we see right here on campus. Uh, wait a minute, my battery is running low. What's going on there? So, so what we try to do is uh, we've realized, and also the other thing that we have to really do is to really tell them how different common crackle is that compared to other living species which we found here. They are very different, especially during the winter months. So they have completely different behavior when they get into this state, how they feed, their appearance, the behavior, the diet, the reproductive life cycles. So those are the simple things that we need to make sure people who are non-biologists, are called conservation scientists, understand really what we are talking about. Because the rule of the thumb here is uh, if you see all these birds that are spreading potential diseases, we need to get rid of them, especially when they congregate in the right in big numbers. So, as part of of campus policy, or as part of the college station and the city policy, we need to find a way into making sure we can scare them away. So we try to the university through its ground departments, they've hired what we call professional bird control teams. So they come on and try to see how they could make sure these birds do not roost in areas where they can be that can cause potential harm to students or the local people. So how do you drive away those existing birds? Using long-term bird exclusion protocols to make sure the areas where they come become inaccessible. So what they try to do is they remove the things that we think are attracting these birds, or what we call those bird attractants. They install various different types of barriers and deterrents, so that will scare the birds away. Look at then those access points are trying to be patched up, then the block of potential nesting sites. So that is the bird control team. That's what happens. And really, when they saw this huge flux of martins coming in, they said, okay, oh, now we see another group of birds coming in. What happens here is this the same. So that is that confusion. So I really wanted to make sure when we talk about purple martins, why did we think why it happened and why the grounds team were trying to send professional bird control experts to send away those birds. So we had to educate them really what are common martins and how different are common martins from other species. So, like you would see, and if you've read about common martins, these are swallows, and these are the largest swallows that we have in North America. So they're very beautiful birds, and they're very, very famous for how they fly, for their fast and graceful flight, for their bubbly, chattering songs. If you look at, I have an image there of an adult male and an adult female. The male is blue with black feathers, glossy in nature, while the females and the young birds really are light and grayish on the parts. But if you look at an adult female of the purple martin, they actually have this purple on the crown. So they come into the Brazos County, into the valley, into areas where we live. By early February, most of them are here. So they come back. So usually after the February freeze, it gets very cold in Texas in February. So after the February freeze, you're getting into March. Like I was saying, the common grackles are just the largest swallows that we find in North America. There's some beautiful birds, and they get here around after the February freeze, and they stay through to September. So they breed, and the young ones grow. They learn as since like you've seen, like most birds, the most of these habits and behavior or migratory behavior are being taught by from the parents to the offspring. So every summer we have this spectacular phenomenon that unfolds right in our backyard here in College Station. So we have tens of thousands of these purple muffins. They gather here and they prepare for that remarkable journey that go across to South America. So that by late July and by the time or early August, we are now getting to that period where the roosts are all moving out. They swell up to about 100,000 birds. So you can imagine the spectacle that you see if you get 100,000 birds congregating in one area. And really, what is really unique about Port Martins is that they rely almost entirely on human-made family bird houses that are or their groups of nests that are built by made by humans. So it is really unique um, because the tradition of house martins it goes back to centuries. Indigenous people who had been living here, building and hanging these hollowed out goats for them to nest. So this habitat people have been living with this bird for a very long time. So what's interesting about common purple martins is they catch all their food, which are mostly flying insects, all day by flying. If you know about swift and swallows, they're very aerial. So they drink water while flying. Some of them can skim across the surface of ponds or lakes. And in return for that service which they provide to nature, they are excellent natural pest controls because they feed on those flying insects, including mosquitoes. So although mosquitoes lie low, but would and stay on leaves during the day, common martins, once they see them, they can feed on them. And during that long migration route, they have to travel those thousands of miles every year between North and South America. And many, they go to Brazil and Bolivia during the winter. So, and that what we've realized from the research that have been done with common martins is that adverse weather will kill purple martins than any other factors combined. So cold, they are very adverse. They are scared of the when it gets very cold. They need to be out of here. So so then what happened? As I mentioned earlier, as I started talking, when we started seeing this large pre-migratory roost in early June forming around College Station here in campus, uh, people started asking which are these new birds who've been chasing these common grackles away. But now we have these other birds coming in. So our friends from Audubon Society, they usually go around trying to locate where some of those staging routes for migration are formed. So on the 28th of June, about 2 months ago, they were here on campus, right here at the West Campus Garage, where we had this spectacular roost growing, and that had been there for almost a week or so. So, so on that day, on June 28th, they really witnessed thousands of martins coming into the trees surrounding the West Campus Garage. And so, with the excitement, I should have shown you some of the pictures of the excitement when they saw the roost and they said, "Oh my God, spectacular!" But shortly after, thereafter, when it got dark, we had those guys, professional bird scarers. They came in, despite some promises that they said these birds were different from the common grackles. They came in, they were there to harass the birds, and then they wanted them to leave. So they turned up after dark. They were hoping that they could scare the birds away. So when we were informed, like we work on campus and we try to see how we can make the campus bird friendly. So we put a team together from the BRTC. We had the Biodiversity Research and Teaching Collections here on campus, which is one of these fantastic sites which are always advised when you come to Texas. You want to come visit. The City of College Station Conservation Advisory Group, the Brothers Audubon Society, they all wrote together to the university and informed them about the bird scarer operating on the campus. So the university had to respond. Okay, let's find out the grounds department, what's going on, who's doing it. And so who had hired them and why are they scaring the martins? And so the university reassured us that the martins would be safe on campus this season. And we were really great, extremely thankful that the university accepted to protect and help us to make sure birds can have staging roost safe for them to fly out as when the time comes for them to leave for South America. So that's why we decided to form what we call a free watch party. So when we talk about the watch party means if you see all those birds coming together, what does it mean to the local people? So we had to go through the media. We went to the national TV. It came out on the local news. We made flyers through Urban Society, through the City of College Station. And the flyer was very clear. When 50,000 birds come to visit you, you celebrate, you don't chase them away. So that was the catchy phrase that we had on the flyer, and that attracted people came in. So we got lots of people from different areas coming in to see on this 22nd of July between 7 p.m. because that's when the roost starts. We think the roost starts forming around 8 p.m. By 9, they're all sleeping. So by 7 p.m. during summer, there's a lot of light here. So we said we could congregate at 7 p.m., then walk over to the garage. So what we tried to do on that day was we organized the party at West Campus Garage by bringing in collaborators and bird lovers and conservation science and nature lovers, bird watchers. Everybody came together. So we had over 400 people coming together to put a watch party to see how we can celebrate this stunning event. And the university, as I said, was very graceful. They provided us with the refreshments. It gets very hot in Texas during the summer. So you can, especially during winter and during July and August, we can get temperatures over 100 degrees, which is about 40 degrees Celsius. So it gets very hot here and dry. So we get refreshments from the university. The university also provided us transportation for those who could not walk easily to the site. So we got student volunteers to drive those vehicles. And there was police security and free parking on campus. So the university was really open to the idea of let's talk about these birds, let's see what it is. So you can see this is just part of the building of the science building where we congregated with the population. Then we talked about the different things that we do on campus here. So uh, uh, we congregated, had the refreshments. We talked about the different activities. Through the watch party. So we had about 400 people, like I said, coming in. So we tried to make it in a different, in an organized way. So the first thing is we had a welcome introduction to really what purple matters are, what those migration really entail, how long they stay on campus. These are just temporal visitors. They don't come here to poop or to scare students. So then we had what we call the Bird Safe Glass Tour, which gave an overview of bird-friendly campus, or what we call the Agland Coalition Studies Program, which we are running currently on campus through the BFTC, that highlight the campus bird-friendly initiatives that are really taking place here on campus. I'm going to talk about this. It's really important that, especially when you take A&M University, you can see what speaking truth to power means and what it means when you can say the university is actually pushing to be a campus bird friendly university with initiatives that is going to make sure conservation leaders can walk freely on campus. When we did that, then we had this guided walk to the West Campus Garage where you could see the locations and the volunteers were pointing out how the birds were flocking together before as the party began. So by 8:30, we had moved up to the West Campus Garage, and we could see the birds coming in. So I just put you some of the images of really what we were seeing on the day. Between 7 to 9 p.m. At 7 p.m., there's still so much lighting. By 9 p.m., it gets almost dark. So you can see how the birds were flocking in. You can see everybody watching, people enjoying the party. By 9:30, all these birds were already on the streets roosting, and it was quiet enough. And so by 9 o'clock, we started letting people leave peacefully and quietly so that we don't disturb the birds as they were roosting. So it was really a spectacular event. And it's really, really, so that's really, so when I talked to Elizabeth, I said, it's a story which I would really like to share of really what we can do, especially, and people react positively once they get the correct information. Like I said, I wanted to talk to you about a bird-friendly initiative that we do here on campus. So the image you see, it's really is how we can reconfigure um, windows and buildings here on campus. So we have what we call initially when this program started, we have these massive buildings with huge glasses, and when birds migrate at night or during the day, they collide into these windows, and it kills them a lot because the windows are clear. There is the birds don't know the difference between a windowless space and where these huge buildings with glass windows. So we have student volunteers and teams. They monitor campus buildings every morning at 6 a.m. Then they try to log into the data, those windows buildings where birds will really strike. And they collect these birds. So you can see these birds that are killed during these collisions are taken to the BRTC. We keep them into museums as collections. I showed some samples where those birds were skinned and collected there. So what we had to do was to get retrofits, so to pinpoint those areas where that are what we call a high mortality zones for the birds. So leading to installation of textured, reflective, feather-friendly dots that on these transparent and reflective surfaces. Initially, when the idea came out, I said, "Oh, these buildings are killing the birds." And then when we talked to the authorities initially, they said, "Oh, you can't change that. This it needs to go through the architecture. These things are huge buildings. They're very expensive. They've been built so far. Is that a way as a deterrent?" So, and that's why we said, speaking truth to power, you can write to the president. The students wrote to the president of the university. They told him, "How can we fix this? What can we make sure we protect it?" These birds fly to this campus, the visitors, and by coming here, he's telling us our campus is clean and healthy. But we're building structures that are killing them. So within 24 hours, we got a response from the president's office. What do you want us to do? So the president, so they came up with these initiatives where you say you can retrofit these buildings. You can see this is an example of a building that was retrofitted after it was built. You can see the dots right there that the president ordered change those campus buildings to make sure that it doesn't kill the birds. Then we had these other wide campus initiatives where we had this lights out campaign. We collaborated with other groups that tried to make sure that we turn off the lights in the interior buildings by 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. If nobody is there, we shouldn't be wasting electricity. During those peak migration periods, we have this huge lights out campaign. The campus is completely dark after 11 p.m. at night, so birds do not get hit. They don't get collide. They don't collide with those windows. And then we have these educational outreach programs where we do some public events, we do museum displays, where we can collaborate with the BRTC and guided watch parties to connect local communities with broader conservation initiatives. So you can see some of the birds that you see, the image that you see below, some of the birds that got killed during these collision events. They are skinned and they are kept there so people can see them. So it is really, really interesting to see that when you speak truth to power, you can change a lot of things. So that's why it is really important that uh, at times conservation is not just inside the classroom. It's not inside the building. It can just be on top of us. But we should be able to communicate. We should be able to talk to the authorities and tell them in a friendly way. And that's the way most things are going to be changed. And we did that here on campus, and it's really, really successful. And so that's the story really I wanted to share. En français, des martinets violets. Qu'est-ce qui se passe avec les martinets violets? Nous avons plus de 50 000 martinets violets qui passent vers le campus universitaire de l'Université de Texas chaque année. Et comme ce sont des oiseaux migrateurs, on a presque plus de 50 000 jusqu'à 100 000 oiseaux qui passent vers le campus pour quelques semaines et puis ils continuent leur route pour l'Amérique du Sud, vers le Brésil ou la Bolivie. Mais le problème avec les martinets volets, les violets et les autorités universitaires, il y avait une confusion entre ce qu'on appelle les common grackles. Common grackles in French is les quiscales communs. Les quiscales communs sont des oiseaux qui dérangent beaucoup. Donc, on a trouvé ils s'y trouvent toujours en train d'agresser les étudiants. Ils sont partout. Donc, on a trouvé un peu de salmonelle dans ces oiseaux, donc il y a maintenant une possibilité que certains de ces oiseaux peuvent porter des maladies qui vont affecter les humains. Donc, il y a les gens, les professionnels qui sont toujours invités à l'université pour chasser ces oiseaux, les quiscales communs, quand ils viennent en groupe dans le campus. Et maintenant, chaque année, vers le début du mois de juin, on a maintenant la congrégation des martinets violets parce qu'ils s'assemblent l'assemblée pour commencer la migration. Et quand vers fin juillet, début août, on a presque 100 000 oiseaux qui sont sur place et ils sont en train de partir vers du sud. Et quand on a vu ces oiseaux, bien sûr, les autorités universitaires, par exemple les ornithologues, ils se disent qu'encore, voilà, les oiseaux qui viennent encore déranger les gens qui viennent encore avec des maladies. Ils ont encore envoyé les gens pour venir les chasser. C'est là qu'on a intervenu. On a dit non, ce ne sont pas les mêmes espèces. Ces martinets violets sont des visiteurs. Ce sont des oiseaux migrateurs qui sont en train de passer pour aller au Brésil. Et entre-temps, ils vont choisir cette année notre campus universitaire. Pourquoi ne pas organiser quelque chose? C'est ce qu'on appelle le watch party. Euh, et c'est là où j'ai dit que speak truth to power. Expliquer à l'université ce qui se passe, que ces oiseaux ne sont pas comme euh, les, le cristal commun qu'on voit tout le temps. Donc, ils viennent. Et quand on a 50 000 oiseaux qui viennent nous visiter, on doit fêter, on ne doit pas les chasser. C'est ça on a organisé ce qu'on appelle le watch party, une fête pour les oiseaux. Et on a eu plus de 400 personnes qui sont arrivées voir qu'est-ce qui se passe. Et le 22 juillet, c'était un mercredi à 19h, on a invité les gens au campus universitaire. Plus de 400 personnes sont arrivées. L'université nous a donné à boire et à manger. Il fait très chaud au Texas en août et en juillet. Donc, il faut savoir si vous invitez les gens il faut vraiment les rafraîchir. L'université a accepté. On nous a envoyé la police. Le parking au campus était gratuit ces jours. Mais tout était, l'université nous a dit que bon, c'est bien, c'est une bonne initiative. Il faut maintenant éduquer. On va faire une différence entre les cuscales communs et les matinées violets. Et c'est ce qu'on a fait. Et ensemble, on a démontré tout ce qu'on est en train de faire, expliquer à la population que- qu'est-ce qui est des martinets violets, leur reproduction, leur migration, et entre-temps aussi d'autres initiatives qu'on est en train de faire ici au campus universitaire. Et pour voir, parce avec tous ces gros bâtiments, avec les vitrines, les oiseaux viennent, il y a toujours une collision. Donc, quand les oiseaux voient, ils ne voient pas la vitrine, donc il y a toujours une collision. Et chaque matin, on trouve maintenant des oiseaux qui sont morts à cause de la collision. Donc, on a essayé de montrer qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire, comment on peut voir, euh, comment on peut éviter. Et l'université, on a écrit au président de l'université, il a répondu, si les étudiants veulent changer, qu'est-ce que nous, on peut faire à notre niveau? Même si on a déjà construit ces bâtiments, comment on peut les modifier? Et le président a donné l'ordre et on a essayé de modifier. Vous pouvez voir une vitrine, voilà l'exemple d'une vitrine que le président a ordonné qu'on modifie. OK, donc si l'oiseau est en train de passer, vous voyez cette décoration. Ça, on décore la vitrine. C'est l'immeuble devient, le bâtiment devient plus beau et l'oiseau voit. Donc, entre-temps, c'est deux côtés, c'est du gagnant-gagnant. Du côté, ça devient un site un peu touristique qui est attirant et entre-temps, l'oiseau aussi voit. Donc, là, on évite maintenant les collisions. On a aussi nos étudiants qui sont des volontaires, que chaque matin, maintenant, ils peuvent maintenant visiter ces bâtiments et voir s'il y a vraiment une réduction, une implication. Et dès qu'on a trouvé que chaque fois qu'on modifie le bâtiment, il n'y a plus de collision, on a ordonné maintenant avec d'autres bâtiments au campus, donc pas seulement la CEP. Vous pouvez voir, on a mis d'autres modèles, les architectes sont venus. Vous pouvez voir, il y a même comment on a modifié les vitrines, donc pour que les oiseaux puissent migrer en paix. On a trouvé ce qu'on appelle Light Out Campaign vers 23 heures. On demande maintenant à éteindre des lumières partout, surtout quand c'est la période d'immigration des oiseaux, vers 23 heures, on éteint partout, c'est noir. Et maintenant, on a aussi les événements d'éducation pour démontrer aux étudiants, à la population, aux autorités universitaires, comment il faut faire dans les avoir des collections. Donc c'est avec ça, c'est justement ce que nous avons fait ici et ce que nous sommes en train de faire toujours. Et on espère que la conservation n'est pas seulement dans une classe, mais c'est toujours dehors, c'est toujours partout. Mais il faut savoir communiquer, il faut savoir dire la vérité et dire ça avec honnêteté et avec la paix. Et les autorités vont toujours répondre. Et voilà.